Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Devil Experience. We are here live with the Red Devil recap. FCSB 0, Manchester United 2. I am Eric, and Manchester United are through to the next rounds of the Europa League. Listen, I'm just gonna say right off the bat, the first half wasn't great. Could have been much better. Honestly, I thought it might continue that way because we didn't necessarily need to win. I thought maybe we were going to get a draw. And it's really a tale of two halves, pretty much, because the first half really wasn't good enough. The second half, they stepped it up. The second half is what I really expected to see in the first half. And there was problems in the first half that got changed up in the second half. So I'm probably going to split it up into two halves. We're going to do live player ratings as we always do. And we're going to break down the match and we're going to give our thoughts and opinions. We're going to cover Ruben Amorim quotes after he does his post-match press conference. So stick around. We got a lot of stuff to get to. Before we get into all of that, please smash the like button because it helps the channel grow. And we greatly appreciate it if you could smash that like button for us. It does help a lot. So if you do that, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate that. And if you're new and you're not a subscriber and you enjoy the content and you enjoy our community and you enjoy the discussion, first of all, feel free to get involved. Nobody here is ignored. But make sure you subscribe and you hit the notification bell icon so you get notified when we go live. We're live after every match and we're live during the week as well, doing just general news stuff around Manchester United, thoughts and opinions and stuff like that. So very good stuff. We're building a nice little community here. So join us if you want to come on over. We welcome you with open arms. But let's get more to the match. So the first half, really, my thoughts and opinions on it was we were too slow. We didn't do enough. And the question that I kept asking myself when I was watching the match was, what is the purpose of our play? Because I think, we did good to retain possession, which was fairly obvious that, that was going to happen because we should be able to do that against this team. I'm going to be quite honest. Never heard of this team. Don't know what country they're from. I've no clue about anything about this team. But that's not the thing. The thing is that, we did well to retain possession. We did well to, move around, do a little bit of touches and passes and stuff like that. But I just kept thinking, what is the purpose of United's play? Because we retain possession, we pass it around, we end up finding a little bit of space, we get to the side of the box, and instead of the ball going into the box, the ball goes backwards. So it's like, we play for no, it's like we play for no reason almost. Like, it's almost like if the ball goes into the box, we've committed a sin, which I don't really understand. Now, in the second half, that sort of changed. Obviously, we got the introduction of Ahmad. We got the introduction of Garnacho, who I think, made a big difference. And we started playing a lot more quicker, a lot more one-touch, a lot more direct, and really trying to make things happen. So, that obviously came from Ruben Amorim doing the team talk at halftime and, switching things up and, putting out a clear message that you need to do more with the ball. You have the ball. You're not doing anything with it. And that was quite clear and obvious because we seen what happened, the last 5 minutes of the first half. We didn't do enough with the ball in the first half. And FCSB got a little bit more comfortable and they really started putting the pressure on us. And that's really our fault because we had most of the possession. We didn't do enough with it. So we kind of put the pressure on ourselves as well. And, it's a little bit concerning because a team like this, I think the second half is a half that we should be having in the first half. But overall, we got the win. We finished in, I believe, 4th place. So we're in the top 8. We don't have to play 2 extra matches. So positive day for Manchester United all around. And I guess we can talk about Kobbie Mainoo as well because Kobbie, playing in the number 10 spot tonight, which surprised me a little bit because when the lineups came out, I thought that he was going to play next to Collier deeper and Bruno and Eriksson were going to play up there, but it was the opposite. and Kobbie absolutely starred there. And we've talked about that on this channel before. Grace has floated the idea. I floated the idea as well. I think Ray's been saying it as well. Because, you know, a few of the chat members have been saying, like, they would like to see Kobbie Mainoo up there in the 10. They think that he can do it. They think he has the composure. He has the ability to do so. You know, even some people arguing and saying that Kobbie would be better at it than Bruno is. And, you know, he got a goal and he got an assist. And, you know, it was a masterclass by Kobbie Mainoo, and I would like to see him there more. I think for sure and definitely, you know, in my opinion, in my belief, the whole time that I've been saying, I think one of the most important traits that Kobbie has, barring his technical ability with the ball and even just, you know, IQ, he has the composure. And I think the composure is such an important aspect for that position. And he's just, I mean, he's always been like this since he's come into the first team. Calm, cool, collected, level-headed. He makes smart and good choices when he has the ball. He has vision as well. You know, and he's unselfish. Obviously, you have to be unselfish in his position, but he's unselfish. He looks for his teammates. He looks to create. So, you know, I'm happy Ruben Amorim moved him there and played him there, because it kind of seemed like it wasn't really going to happen. He kept playing him in the deeper role. And I really wanted to see him there because I wanted to see what he could do. And, you know, some of Kobbie Mainoo's best moments for Manchester United since he's come into the first team has been in and around that box, the opponent's box, in the little bit more advanced spot. So, you know, I always kind of felt like he could probably do the job if we gave him the opportunity. And Ruben Amorim gave him the opportunity. He had a significant impact today. So that was, you know, very, very important. And I think Garnacho as well. I mean, you know, Garnacho has to stay. You know, at this point, I don't really care what anybody says, and I don't really care what, you know, implication, you know, I don't care what the club say. I don't care what implications it has to do. Garnacho has to stay. I mean, first of all, Garnacho came on and he had direct impact into the match. I think he changed the match for the better. He came with good energy. He came with directness. He came with that, you know, attacking that we're sort of used to from Garnacho. And he picked the team up a little bit. And, you know, that's a plus on top of the fact that he's 20. You know, his potential is sky's the limit for being a 20-year-old playing at Manchester United in the Premier League week in, week out. So, you know, the club should absolutely not be selling Alejandro Garnacho. That was my position before this match, and it's my position now, and it's going to continue that. And if they do end up selling him, I'm going to be really, really, really pissed off at the club and Ineos, because I do think it's a disgrace. He should absolutely not be going. He should be part of the project for the future of this club. But that's my little 2 cents so far on the match. But let's get to the chat, and let's see what the chat is saying. Grace starting off the chat by saying, Dalot, best player in the world. That's my captain. Hold that, haters. For anybody that doesn't know, Grace is a Dalot stan, and she has an agenda against anybody that's not Diogo Dalot. But you know, let's talk about Diogo Dalot. Diogo Dalot getting on the score sheet as well. Played on the right, played on the left. He played good on the right, he played good on the left. And he scored the goal on the left-hand side. And by the way, you know, it was a beautiful assist and pass from Kobbie Mainoo, and good and smart, intelligent read from Diogo Dalot to make that run into the back post. And he just knew that the ball was coming. And Kobbie put it in the most perfect. I mean, you can't ask for a better cross. It was the most perfect spot for the ball to travel across the box. You couldn't have put it any better. So it was very good action. I'm happy, you know, Dalot has had a better performance. And he's gotten on the score sheet as well because, you know, I do value him. I do think he is a good player. And he was struggling a little bit for a good period of time, but today he had a very good game, and he ended up getting on the score sheet. And it's always good to see, you know, your wingbacks getting on the score sheet. So that was always good and fun. Ray says Dalot played better on the left and the right. Yeah. Ray said hold that, all of you. Grace is giving us a go today. Ray says Mainoo is better than Bruno as the number 10 position. Well, Yeah, maybe. I mean, I would like to see. I think maybe it's a little bit early to kind of say that because he's only played there like once officially. Um, but I think he obviously, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, I think he obviously has the skill set and the mental attributes and the vision and all of it. I think he has the whole package to play there. So I would like to see him play that position more going forward, and like let's see how high he can take his performances in that position. For sure. And Grace says, I'm not even joking. Dalot is getting it. RSV says, big up. That was a complete performance. Mainoo could have scored a hat trick. Yes, he could have, and I wish he did. I mean, he almost scored. He almost scored. I think he could have had 4 goals. He had that one chance in the first half where he did the little flick up over the defender's head inside of their box. And he tried to volley it after that, and he got the kick a little bit wrong, but it was still a brilliant effort in my opinion. To just have the read of the game and the confidence and the ability to even try that, is and for a player of his age, he also shows the character, and he shows that he has a certain attitude and a certain mentality and belief in himself. And we need more of that in the squad. We really do. We need more players to be confident in themselves. We need more players to, just be Manchester United players on the pitch. So, and RSV says Mainoo thrives playing in a more advanced position. I do believe that. He can't play deep because he's not a distributor of the ball and can't play long diagonal passes out of the wide flanks. Yeah, he doesn't tend to do that too much. I think he is of that age where you could develop his game pretty much on all those aspects, RSV. And I still think he's young enough that you can kind of mold him into whatever you want him to be. If you want him to be like an all-around sort of midfielder, box-to-box type of player, you can certainly do that. If you want him to be, more of a number 10, I think we can certainly develop him more into that. He's still, for the amount of games he's played and the amount of experience he's already gotten at this age, he's still, for his just for the age aspect, and the amount of years left on his career, he's still very raw in that aspect. Like, you can still mold him into something that you want in the team. But I do think, as of right now, I do think that he is better fitted for the more advanced role. And again, I think one of his big traits that he has, that you don't really see a lot in today's game, but especially in that Manchester United squad. And I think one of the big differences compared to him and Bruno is that Mainoo has composure. And Bruno sometimes lacks composure, right? We talk about Bruno. We say, sometimes he's very erratic with the ball. He makes erratic decisions sometimes. Sometimes he makes like the wrong passes, or and again, I think composure is such an important trait. I think it's actually very undervalued. I don't think a lot of people talk enough about it. I don't think it's analyzed enough. But that's one word that I've always attached to Kobbie Mainoo since the first time I saw him play, in the first team. Was I was taken away and I was blown away by the composure that the kid had. And he just looked like a professional right off the bat, like he's been doing it for years. So yeah, Lion says, yesterday we had Lieutenant Marion Cobretti. Yeah. Today we have Palpatine. I'm loving the new cosplay element of the stream. I'm not, come on, give me a little bit credit here. I'm not Palpatine's an ugly old man. I'm not ugly or old. Well, I don't know if I'm ugly or not. That's for other people to determine, I guess. But I'm not an old man. I don't got wrinkles on my face, and I'm not evil either. So, but yeah, we had a stream the other day. It was very good. One-time exclusive. If you missed it, you missed it. If you were there, you're there, and you're a legend. So Grace says, can we just do a whole show on Dalot? We don't need to speak on anything else. I mean, if that's what you want, Grace, we can absolutely do that. I don't know if we can do about an hour of Dalot. I'm sure you can carry the conversation in that aspect, but And Grace says, breaking, Manchester United will face either Real Sociedad, Galatasaray, AZ Alkmaar, or Midtjylland in the Europa League last 16. Thank you for that update, Grace, because I was going to have to look that up, so I appreciate that info. And, you know, all those teams are beatable for Manchester United. We should be winning any one of those games. Although I would say that the Galatasaray match is probably the hardest match. Solely because of the Turkish fans, the element walking into that, and facing that atmosphere. That probably pushes them a little bit over the top. Also, they probably have a little bit more quality than, you know, obviously AZ Alkmaar and Midtjylland. And Real Sociedad's, you know, probably on par with them in terms of quality. Maybe Galatasaray is a little bit better. I'm not sure. I don't really watch them, so I can't say too much. Just off a general feeling, though. Ray says, Mainoo, he is not selfish. He doesn't go for glory. And yeah, and I think that's important as well. I think Bruno is a little bit, you know, I don't know. I try to be fair. I think Bruno sometimes, again, he lacks. See, I think Kobbie has the composure. I think Bruno lacks that composure, and so Bruno sometimes just starts doing things where, like, he gets very frustrated too easily on the pitch. You know, like if it's 0-0 and it's the 60th minute, he almost starts to go into a little bit of panic mode. I don't know if that's like part of him as a player, but then also part of it is like he has the captaincy on him and he feels the need, like, I have to do something to put the team in front. So he starts doing things that he probably necessarily shouldn't do, like taking far shots or just taking bad shots, like shots that aren't really on, shots that aren't really open, instead of keep trying to, you know, provide service and slip in your teammates into the box or into a good position to put the ball into the box. So again, I think composure tonight is going to be it's going to be a big factor, because that to me is the biggest difference between more than anything between Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes, is that Mainoo has composure like he's been doing this for like 30 years. And he just carries and conducts himself on the pitch like you know, just like he's world class. Like he's been doing it, like he does it in his sleep. So yeah. Gray says we need to, since you bums have been horrible, Tim, last few weeks. Listen, I think we've been, I mean, you know, I can only speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for the rest of the community. I've been pretty fair, I think, Grace. I don't think he's been great in some of the matches, but I don't disrespect him in any way. I don't say that he should be sold. I value him as a player. I've always liked Dalot. And I continue to like Dalot because I think Dalot is a good player. I do. And I think some of the fans get on his back, or got on his back a little bit too harshly, because every player is going to dip in form a little bit, but I know that Diogo Dalot has good qualities and he's a good player and he has a good attitude and a good mentality as well. He's a hard worker, you know, not just for himself, but for the team as well. I think he has that sort of squad mentality, that he's a team player, you know. So I do like a lot about Diogo Dalot. I think he's an important player, actually. And even Cristiano took him under his wing, and he's seen something in him that he doesn't see in too many footballers, according from Cristiano's own mouth. So I do like Diogo Dalot, and I'm happy to see him on the score sheet. I'm happy he's playing well, and I hope he continues. The more players that we have play better, the better. I would like to go and do one of these one day where we can't criticize a single player, or say, that player didn't have too much of a great game. I would love to do one of these where every player gets a 10, because that means that our whole team performed well, and that's all I want. I think that's all everybody wants at the end of the day. So hopefully, let's continue. Hopefully they continue that. RSV says, I am also glad Amorim go the right hand side spot on today by playing Dalot there. Maz hardly pushes forward to provide width to the number 10. Yeah, I mean, I think just Dalot is better on the right anyway. He's more comfortable there, even though he scored the goal from the left. But but he just seems more comfortable there, and I think he's able to get more involved, and it's just more natural to him. So it's good to have him back there. But I think Maz was pretty good when he was over there too. Had a couple good defensive actions, although maybe didn't get as far forward as maybe some of us would like, or maybe as much as he's supposed to. But Maz has been good all season pretty much. And he's been a really good signing, and it's good to have both these players. We need as much competition as possible, in all aspects. I was even today on the way home from work, I was speaking to my father, and I was talking about even the fact that, like, Ruben Amorim has included Binder into the matches, and the difference that makes from Eric Ten Hag, where it was only Onana and it was always only Onana. And I was like, we need competition everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter if you are arguably the main starter or not, and it doesn't matter what position it is. The squad must have competition within each other, and it needs to be healthy competition. It's not like they're backstabbing each other and they're cursing each other out because one player has taken the starting spot over another. But even just to keep Onana just on his toes a little bit, right? Like, Onana's obviously going to come back in for the Premier League match. I don't think he's in jeopardy of necessarily losing his spot right now, but it's just an important aspect of, like, hey, we're going to play the backup goalkeeper. He's playing, and, if he puts in good performances, it just pushes Onana just a little bit further to stay on his toes and have good games, because if Onana starts playing bad and Binder's playing good, well, then eventually he will lose his spot, and you kind of need that dynamic in the squad. So I think Amorim is slowly but surely, like, trying to figure out that aspect in Manchester United. Ray says, happy Reds today. Absolutely. We got to take it as it comes, and today's the day to be positive. Today's the day to be happy. I mean, this season has been marred by a lot of negativity, some really bad results, bad performances, bad situations going on at the club above the manager and the players. And today we got to take the good. When the good comes, you got to take it. And we finished fourth in the Europa League. We went on a little run since Ruben Amorim has come. I mean, all you have to do is look back to the start of the campaign and how it wasn't going too well, and how kind of we were really lacking. We couldn't win a match. We couldn't do anything, and it wasn't looking too good. And Ruben Amorim has come in, and for the very least, we're still struggling in the Premier League, but he straightened out the Europa League, and we've gotten results in Europe, which is important as well, because that is our ticket to Champions League, and that is our ticket to pretty much having a good season, as much as a good season as you can, because our league position, we're not going to get into any type of the top six, so our league position is going to be below, very, very below Manchester United standards in the league. But, if we can have a very good European campaign, and ultimately, obviously the goal is to win it. But, if we could win it and we're still in the FA Cup, and, we could win that, then you take that. And then, it would, you're making something good out of something bad, which is the best thing you could obviously do. Obviously we want better. We want to be, in the top four. We want to be challenging for the Premier League. We want to look competitive. We want to be serious in all aspects. But, we are where we are right now, and we just got to try and make the best out of the situation. And hopefully that's what happens with what we have coming in the future. So, Lion says tactics and systems work today, especially in the second half. Yeah, I think, a little bit of adjustment, a little bit of direction from the manager, and changes. He made the changes right off the bat, taking off Malacia, taking off Collier. I thought Collier was all right as well. But I think it was just tactical adjustments that he needed to make, Ruben Amorim, and he did what he thought was best for the team, and they certainly worked, because we ended up scoring 2 goals and we ended up winning the match. So it made the difference. Good for him. And again, the tactics and the system type of thing is a work in progress. It is. He's not going to get everything right, regardless, because he's a human being and everybody makes mistakes. But it's certainly a work in progress, because he's still kind of figuring things out, what works best, what doesn't work best. who he can really rely on, who he can really trust, and stuff like that. And just all sorts of dynamics. So I think, you know, sometimes he'll get it wrong, but he's gotten it right. He's gotten it right on multiple occasions as well. So you know, it's good. It's good. And hopefully we can carry this over into the Premier League, please, because we do all right in Europe. And you feel maybe the tide is turning, maybe the things are shifting, and then we go into the Premier League and we look like we never kicked the ball. So you know, I think everybody's sort of waiting for a moment in the season where it just like kind of clicks, and I don't know if we're necessarily going to get that because of just the job that's at hand for Ruben Amorim. I hope we do, because it'll be very good, like positive and important, and it'll elevate the squad. And it'll just do enormous things for the squad. But it is difficult based on the current situation that he has, you know, walked himself into by agreeing the job. But also the situation that was there at hand, that he did not create, but he took over. So yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. Lyle is here as well. If you're new, get involved in the chat. We always welcome new chat members, and we'd like to hear from you. So, you know, get involved in the chat. We have a very friendly community, and everybody's opinion is welcome as long as you keep it respectful and stuff like that. You know, just get involved. We'd love to hear from you. And if you could smash the like button, that helps. You know, YouTube wants likes, so it helps us get pushed out. So if you could do that, we greatly appreciate it, and we thank you for that. So we're gonna do live player ratings in a moment. I just want to get through the rest of the chat. Ray says Dalot was crap in the first half, like he was afraid to go forward. Well, I think the team was a little bit like that. I don't necessarily want to individualize it, because I kind of saw that from everybody on the team. Like, again, we did well to retain possession, doing our little triangle passes and stuff like that. But the first half, we were playing football without a purpose. Like, it was very weird. Like, there was multiple times where we worked the ball around because FCSB were compact and they were trying to keep their shape and they were trying to minimize the space that we had. And, you know, we worked the ball around and we ended up getting on the side of the box like numerous occasions. And instead of the ball going into the box, we went backwards. And then from there, we went even further backwards. And I was just like, dude, just put the ball in. Just put the ball into the box. And we did it like once or twice, but we didn't do it enough. And then in the second half, you know, we made the changes. Ruben Amorim addressed it and made the adjustments. And the players deserve credit as well, because they took the instructions, they understood the message, and they applied it on the pitch. So they deserve credit as well. You know, we were a lot more direct. We were a lot more going forward. We were a lot better in all those aspects. We were more dangerous. So, you know, we just need to, I guess one of the things that he's working on, and obviously he has to figure out, is that how do you get them to do that in the first half and do it by themselves? I think that's a very big aspect. Because it almost, you know, the team right now seems a little bit like Ruben Amorim has to hold their hand. And you don't want that from your players. You don't want that from your squad. You want your squad to be like, you know, grown men. You want them to go out there, lead, be the managers in a certain aspect. Like, take the responsibility, know what you need to do, and do it from the beginning of the match. Not have to go into halftime and have the main guy, you know, hold your hand and explain to you like exactly what you have to do. Like, take some initiative. And you know, that's one of the aspects I think that Ruben Amorim, he obviously has to figure it out, because it's important to the squad dynamics. But I think that's one of the things that he definitely is probably working on, and hopefully we see a breakthrough in that aspect, because there's been multiple times since he's come in that I think it's almost fair to say we're more of a second half team than we are a first half team. And I think that's because, like, they go on there and they get very, like, they get sucked into a certain game, and they don't know how to adjust properly when they're on the pitch, and they have to wait to go into the dressing room and get like the instructions from the manager and the message. And it's like, okay, it's good if you can like take that message in and then apply it on the pitch. But what's even better, which is what like teams that are successful and win trophies and you know are great and are the best of the best, they know this stuff and they're adaptable from the beginning of the match to the end of the match. And that's one of the things. I mean, even under Erik ten Hag, how long have we been saying that, you know, we haven't given a full 90-minute performance yet? So that was, it's not a Ruben Amorim thing, it's a Manchester United thing, and it's part of Ruben Amorim's job to figure it out. So hopefully he does figure it out, because it is important and we do need to figure that out. Lion says, come on, guys, help a pal out. Slap that like button. Absolutely. Ray says, come on, Reds, say something good. Say something good day today. Yes, it is. Lyle says, first half was kind of cautious. I agree. I saw concentration, like we didn't want to do too much in case FCSB did some damage. Second half, Amorim knew we could let it flow, and the players then delivered. And I think you make actually a good point, because, see, and this is why I love when people get involved in the chat, because reading that, you like an idea just smacked me in the head based off of what you said, Lyle. So I actually think, number one, we were kind of cautious. We were playing cautious in a certain aspect. And I think one of those reasons were we were afraid of the counterattack. And maybe that was, you know, delivered by Ruben Amorim for the game plan. Like, hey, you know, watch out for the counterattack. So maybe it led the players to be a little bit more cautious because they were afraid to get counterattacked and give up a goal and go behind, which they obviously don't want to do. So maybe that's why they were a little bit more, they seemed cautious, a little bit scared to really drive forward. And then in the second half, when we went into the dressing room, he, you know, gave them a different type of message. And then the mentality sort of shifted. And that's why it was like two different halves. Because, you know, it did seem apparent that, like, okay, they obviously know we're going to have possession. They obviously know we're going to control the game, and their game plan was to hit us on a counterattack. And I think we were a little bit cautious of that. We were a little bit scared to get exposed from the counterattack. You know, that all of that makes sense. Let's do live player ratings, and I wanted to get to some of Ruben Amorim's quotes as well. Lions says, I think it was around 20 minutes in, United had completed 250-ish passes to FCSB's 30-ish. Yes. I mean, you know, a lot of those passes were sideways, backwards. I mean, there was some forward, right? To be fair. But, you know, we were really just, it was, to a certain extent, it was almost like a train. That's what it was. The first half really was, to me, was like almost like a training exercise where, like, I don't know if, you know, how many of you have actually, like, played football in your lives, but, you know, I used to play for a team that we did training sessions where it's about passing, so you don't even shoot, you don't score. It's all about, it's just teams and it's just possession and it's just like pass the ball around and you can't shoot. And that's kind of what it seemed like the first half, where it was like a training session and it was like a possession training session. You know, and it was like almost like we can't put the ball, we're not allowed to put the ball in the box, we're not allowed to really have a go on a goal. But thankfully it changed. So the second half. So let's do player ratings. Let's do them together. And get in the chat. I'll give you guys a second. Altai Bender, what do you guys give him for today? Put your scores in the chat and let me know. I'd probably give him maybe a 6.5. You know, he had a couple saves. But he didn't have too much to do. So, you know, average score rating. You know, listen, his kicking isn't great, which is, I think it's actually, what's the word? It's not disappointing, but, well, maybe disappointing. It's a little bit of a letdown. I think it's unfortunate because I think he's actually a very good shot stopper. And if he could actually kick the ball while it's moving, then we would have almost a complete goalkeeper. We would have a sweeper keeper, that somebody that can use his feet, could, I mean, his sweeping in terms of, you know, coming out of the goal and stuff, still has to be a little bit analyzed, but somebody that could play with his feet, but then can also actually is very good at shot stopping, because I think he's a better shot stopper than Onana. The problem is that, you know, in the way we play, the goalkeeper really does need to use his feet. And sometimes it's a lot more than often, depending on the opponent, because if we're getting pressed and we get pressed into a bad position, you have to give the ball to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper has to do something with his feet. And his kicking in those situations are very, very bad. And I get very, very nervous because every time I see it, I just think like he's going to kick the ball to the opponent in a very bad spot, and they're going to end up scoring a goal from that. It hasn't happened yet, thankfully. So, but I don't know if there's a way to improve that. He can kick the ball when it's a regular goal kick and it's not moving, but it's like when, I seen him take the goal kick, and I was like, okay, you can obviously kick the ball far, and you can kick the ball accurately when it's not moving. So, like, when it's rolling, and it's not moving, like, a lot, it's just rolling a little bit. And I'm like, why can't you kick the ball? Because he kicks it out of bounds, he kicks it to the opponent's team. It doesn't get off the ground very high. So, but yeah, I think, 6, probably 6.5. Ray says 6.5. Lies says 6.5 is fair. Lion says 6, not too busy, one decent save. Yeah, fair enough. But he kept a clean sheet, so we could give him an extra 0.5 as well for that. Lion says, I honestly don't feel like any of them are good enough for a United keeper. Well, yeah, maybe not. Listen, I do think his footwork is a problem for what we need in terms of that for that position, but he is, and maybe it's just because Onana's not that great of a shot stopper, but he is, I believe, a good shot stopper. Like he's certainly better than Onana at shot stopping. So maybe he's not to the level that we need to be, champions. But our team isn't at that level at the moment either. So we kind of have to build that out all around. Mazawari, what do we give him, Mazawari? I'd probably give him a 6. I think it was fairly standard. Even for all the defenders, Lisandro will probably get a little bit of a higher score, maybe just for the first half. Although the second half, I wasn't paying too much attention to him, but because we dominated the ball a lot more. But I think Lisandro was doing good when he was getting in those forward positions as well. I think he was one of the only people, by the way, in the first half at the very least. I think there was like one, maybe other, but he was trying to find Rasmus Højlund on like 2 separate occasions that I could remember, putting the a cross into the box, for Rasmus specifically, and I was sat there thinking like, why the fuck does it take our center back to put that ball into our striker? I'm like, why aren't our other players that are supposed to be the creative attacking players, why don't they do that? Why don't they service him more? Like, okay, you tried to give it to him once and it didn't work out. Give it to him again. Give it to him again after that, and give it to him again after that. Maybe, if you give him 7 opportunities, maybe one will come off, but that one's the most important. So, Ray says he's giving Maz 6.5, which is fair enough. I just don't think they had like too much to do. So, 6.5s for pretty much all of them. I would probably give Lisandro a little bit of a higher score because I think he did a little bit extra in terms of when like we were going forward and we were high up the pitch. And he's good on the ball, which is why he was originally bought, because he is a ball playing defender, and he does that very, very well. So Lion says Tim Howard is class above both of them. I would prefer Carroll and goal. I mean, at that point, we might as well get Barthez back. Lyle says Maz on the LCB is decent enough, although FCSB didn't offer too much to threaten him, so 6.5. And then he corrected himself and says Maz on RCB. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, they get like 6s, 6.5. I think we're gonna have to give. I mean, I know what Grace is gonna give Dalot. I know what Grace is gonna give Dalot. She's gonna give him 100. But I'm gonna give Dalot a 7. Because again, I think defensively, the whole defense didn't have to do too much. Because FCSB didn't offer too much, but Dalot got on the score sheet. And he had a good game as well. Anyway, I think he was good, in the attacking phase as well. So 7.5 for me for Diogo Dalot. Ray says 13 for Diogo Dalot. And Grace is probably going to say that's not high enough. But yeah. Toby Collier, I think we could probably give him a 6 as well. Because he got substituted at halftime and only played 45 minutes. And I think he was he was just average. He was average. He wasn't bad. He was decently good. But he only played 45 minutes and, wasn't anything out of the ordinary there. Lion says 7 for Dalot for him. Made some good runs down the wing. Yeah. 7.5 I think is good for today. I think it's a fair score for him. Bruno Fernandes, I'll give him a 6. I think he was just pretty average today. And yeah, I don't have too much to say on Bruno, really. I think it was just a pretty average performance by him and his standards. And as the captain of Manchester United as well, right? So Ray says 5 first half and 8 the second half. And that's how you got 13? Okay. Fair enough. Malacia, I would actually... I'm trying to be positive on today's show, but we gotta be fair and we gotta be accurate. And I think you gotta give Malacia a 5 for today. I don't think... I mean, you see why we signed Dorgu. You see why there's talks of Manchester United maybe looking to move him on. I just don't think he supplements that role correctly. He tries, he puts in effort. I just don't think it's he doesn't fit the role well enough, and he just doesn't stand out as much as we need him to for that position specifically. And there was a couple of times he was a little bit sloppy. He got a yellow card like very early into the game. It was late, bad tackle in a position that you don't really want to give up a foul as well. So yeah, I mean, I like the guy because he seems like a nice kid or whatever. But needs he's not getting it done in that aspect. Ray says he gives him a 4. Ray's harsher than me. I'm trying to be nice here. Because I think also he played 45 minutes, so I don't want to go too low. But yeah, Christian Eriksen. Yeah, 6. If you want to give him a 6.5, fair enough. You could do that as well. But I there was a couple moments where he made some very nice passes. You could tell he still has like the vision. He still has the IQ. And I couldn't help myself but watching when he was on the ball and doing the actions, and I was just like, I wish you were a little bit younger and you had like a little bit more legs, because I'm like, we could really use more of you if you did. If you can actually move, if you were more mobile, combined with your intelligence and your vision and your ability to put in these balls and get them there, we lack that anyway in this team, and we could use more of it. But you can't play him in a lot of matches because he just doesn't have the legs for the match to keep up with the tempo and the pace of the match. And I think in a match like today, it was all right because we controlled most of we controlled the whole game. We pretty much dominated them, and there wasn't a lot of movement in that aspect. We mainly were on the ball for like the whole game. So, you can play Eriksen in these types of matches, but if you're playing a high intensity game, we could certainly use his passing ability and his vision and his IQ, but he just doesn't have the legs to keep up with the pace of that game, and therefore it's almost a little bit ineffective. So I wish he was younger. I wish he had more legs, or I wish we had another player like him. But a lot of that he has in his locker is from experience and developing as a player over time. So yeah, I'd probably give him a 6. Ray says he'd give him a 6. Lion says Malacia was a mistake. I'm talking about signing him, not by his parents. Well, yeah, I think also, it's a little bit rough, the fact that, he came in first season, was very he'd have like one good game, one bad game, and he was like, okay, all right, well, like, let's see what happens. And then he has suffered that injury, and he was away from football for like over a little bit over a year, which I don't think helps, because he's come back after that, and it's almost like his first season again, but he's gained an age and he hasn't gained an experience, and he missed a lot of game time, and he missed a lot of like developmental things, um, and so yeah, it just didn't go the way you would want it to. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I kind of glazed over that, but yeah, not not by his parents. Yeah, Kobbie, wait, I give Kobbie an 8 today. I think he played a complete performance, got a goal, got an assist. I think he played the 10 beautifully. I think it was a masterclass performance by Kobbie Mainoo today. I really like the kid. I'm actually um, wearing the kit right now, so that was good. I had a Kobbie Mainoo feeling. It was in the water, I guess you could say. And yeah, so 8 for Kobbie Mainoo. I'd like to see him there more. I hope he goes back into that position. And maybe that's his new home. And we can solidify that, and then maybe we could look at bringing in a different type of midfielder, and and we could play him there. Um, Rasmus, probably have to give him a 5 today as well. I still think that there's many times in the match where they don't give him the ball when I want them to give him the ball, and I think that they should give him the ball. But he did have, I mean, he didn't have a lot, but he had some opportunities. He didn't do a good job with them. He didn't do enough, particularly that header. He should have probably scored. If you're going to be a striker for Manchester United and you get that type of chance, you need to make that a much better um, opportunity. It was a poor header. He didn't connect with it right. And again, he sort of struggled, um, winning the ball in those like 50-50 duels with the defenders. And you have to be winning those duels. So again, I don't think it was really that great of a performance from Rasmus. But I haven't abandoned him. I don't give up on him. Again, I think my opinion on Rasmus right now is that he's a young guy. He's 21. I think it's fair enough to say if he's not ready to be the main man for United and he shouldn't be leading the line, that's fair enough. And I do agree with that because, in reality, he really shouldn't be at this age anyway. He shouldn't be the main guy. He shouldn't, that was never what he was supposed to be anyway, right? The plan was always supposed to be Rasmus and an experienced striker. It was supposed to be a young and experienced, and all we ever did was buy a young guy and then try and turn him into the main man. And I actually think that we still right now need the more experienced striker. So and I think Rasmus is good enough to still be on the squad and be, the second or third choice, depending if Xerxes stays as well. So determine if we have 2 or 3 of them. But yeah, I do agree, and I think it would do him good as well because he can learn off of a better, more experienced striker. Like if we had a Gaio Carez or if we had a Victor Osimhen, he can learn off them as well. And he can watch them and learn things off of them and work with them and stuff like that. So I think it would only benefit him, and it would take the pressure off of him, which would probably help as well because I think it's a lot of pressure for somebody like him. And yeah, so I haven't given up on him. I like him. I think he's not in good form right now. He's struggling. He needs some help, and I think he needs some backing as well to get through this period. But the club has to do the right thing and bring in a striker, obviously in the summer. But we may get Mateus Tell. But he does kind of play winger, but you can also play him striker. But he is another young guy, so he's not the experienced guy. But we'll see what happens with that. Lenny Yoro, we're gonna give him a 6. Diallo, we're gonna give him a 6. Cass, we'll give him a 6. Um, Garnacho, I'm gonna give him a 7 because I think when he came on, he changed the dynamic of United. He was impactful and he made us more dangerous, and he brings some good energy and just good attacking intent, and and put some more pressure on FCSB, and was dangerous and was really on top of his game. And again, I'm going to say this: we should absolutely not be selling Alejandro Garnacho, and if we end up selling him before the window closes, I'm going to be absolutely furious. I don't want him to leave. It's pissing me off, the news that keeps coming out, because I know we talked about the other day that it seemed like Napoli wasn't going to go back in and Chelsea kind of cooled. Well, today they've come out with news saying that Napoli is going to come with another bid and Chelsea are preparing a bid. Um, if I was in charge of the club, I wouldn't even be entertaining these offers unless they, offered something absolutely ridiculous. And then obviously you take that money because you can probably rebuild the whole squad with it at that point. But yeah, it's just very anti-Manchester United. I don't care about the circumstances. Figure it out some other way. Your PSR, whatever it is. I understand if the club is actually in that position. But I just don't like the dynamic of it. He should absolutely be staying. He's not this player that all these people that have been criticizing and pretty much hating on him on social media say that he is. He is a young guy. Sky's the limit. He has high potential. Yeah, he's gonna, dip in form. He's young. Yeah, he still has to grow in certain aspects. Yeah, he still has to better his game in certain aspects. But he is a good player, and he's young. And that this is a player that should be staying at Manchester United, developing at Manchester United, and continue his growth in his career at Manchester United, because we are Manchester United, and that's what we do. We don't get rid of talents like Alejandro Garnacho for any circumstance. You need money for PSR, open a GoFundMe, and I'm sure United fans from all around the world will donate so that we don't have to sell Alejandro Garnacho at this point. I mean, it's embarrassing, but I'd rather do that than actually sell him. And what would piss me off even more is if we actually sell him to Chelsea, because it's one thing to sell him to Napoli, right? Because I don't have to see him anymore, and he'll play in the Serie A, and I don't really watch the Serie A, so obviously there'll probably be clips of him and maybe some talk, but it would make it 700 times worse if we sold him to Chelsea and I have to watch a 20-year-old kid that was supposed to be potentially a United star develop and grow into that at Chelsea, playing in the Premier League, and that story happening at Chelsea and not happening at Manchester United. So it going to Chelsea will be way worse. But Napoli isn't good either. Like he shouldn't be going. So Joshua Xerxes, I'm gonna give him a 6. And Ruben Amorim, I give him a 7.5. For the changes, for getting the team on track in the second half. And basically going on a good Europa League run since he's come in, getting us to finish in 4th and getting us to avoid the 2 playoff games. He's done well, so he deserves his credit for today as well. And obviously, I think everybody already knew, but Kobbie Mainoo is going to be our man of the match, or at least my man of the match. You guys could give your man of the match if you want to pick somebody different. I don't think you will, but you know, yeah. What are you guys saying in here? Lila says Malacia was cheap though. He was. So it's one of those signings where it can go either way. Imagine if he was a gem, then we could have made profit on him or enjoyed a proper left back to show. Well, one of the good things is that he was cheap. So when we go to sell him, because I think we will be selling him, and I don't think he's going to be staying at Manchester United. It's one of those deals where we're not going to have to take any significant loss, if at a loss at anything, because if you want to remind me, Lyle, I don't know exactly what the fee we paid for him for, but I assume we signed him to a 5-year contract, and obviously that money gets spread out. And this would be, is this his third season now? Because he missed the whole other season. Is it his second or third season? I lose track because he was gone for so long that the timeline on that gets me mixed up. But if we paid 25 million 5 years, 5 million a year, if it's 3 years in, we've paid 15 million. If we can sell him for 15 million, we actually are all right. We actually make a 5 million profit, actually. So yeah, it's one of those things. Then we got to do more deals like that. That's why even the Dorgu deal is a good deal. We're paying him about 30K a week. Something like that, 40K, 30K a week. And we signed him for 30 million. And he's a 20-year-old who has good potential and was highly sought after from, I mean, not sought after, but there was a lot of interest in him from multiple clubs, in the top 5 leagues. So, low wage, 3-4 years time, if it isn't working out, we could always sell him and we'll probably recoup that money. So, again, I think Ineos has done well on the ins and even some of the outs, like even just putting certain things into the contracts, like even like the Alvaro thing. Like, I didn't want him to be sold. I don't think he should have been sold, but even just putting that buyback clause in there, I think they've been much better for sure than, what was happening under directly the Glazers and their people and their CEOs and stuff. So certainly that aspect is better. And I think sort of they are lowering slowly the wages, and also the transfer fees, because I think the same people that paid 70-60 million for Rasmus, which was like 20 to 30 million over the actual value that he was probably worth and that we were trying to pay, they would have paid, probably an extra 20 to 30 million on Dorgu. We would have ended up paying 50 to 60 million for Dorgu. And, our initial fee for Dorgu, the first bid that got rejected was about 24 million pounds. And we've ended up paying 29 million pounds. So when you put it in that aspect, they actually done a good job because they only ended up paying an extra 5 million in the initial fee, which is really the only fee that matters because the add-ons are never guaranteed, so you don't necessarily count them until they happen. So, when you look at it from that perspective, yeah, they did a good job. So, Lion says, sure, back in training after we signed Dorgu. Yeah, I mean, that was something on the internet that absolutely went bonkers. It was hilarious. It was, the memes and stuff, the jokes that they were making. There's one of, I think it's Triple H from the WWE, one of the WWE wrestlers, where he was pretending to have a broken leg with a cast and he's in a wheelchair and he like gets out of the wheelchair and he's like completely fine. And everybody was saying this was Luke Shaw as soon as he saw Fabrizio Romano's confirmation of Dorgu. And yeah, it seems that way. But I imagine that he isn't gonna stay fit. He's gonna get re-injured at some point. So I don't think Dorgu has anything to worry about in that aspect. But hopefully Dorgu hits the ground running because we need him to. Because we don't really have another left back. One that can, play to the manner that we need, or at the very least be available. Lyle says Rasmus had better movements today, still struggled, but at least he got on some passes. Yeah, I think he could have got on some more passes. I think there was a few times in the match where he made a few runs, and they just decided to not give him the ball, for whatever reason. Kobbie did it once or twice, and there was a couple that I can specifically remember off the top of my head. And it was, some other times where he does make these runs. They see him, but they don't give it to him, and I don't really know why. Even if you think that he's going to lose the ball, give him the fucking pass. Let him lose it. Let it be on him. But like, don't deny him an opportunity because you never know. Like that one time, he could. What if he takes an excellent touch, skips the defender, and scores a goal? So I do believe like, if it's not him, anybody that plays striker, they should be getting the most service and be given the most like chances and opportunities from his team, from their teammates. And I feel like he does get robbed of more opportunities because they just are hesitant to give him the ball. Maybe they don't trust him, which is an issue and a problem. Maybe they're just not on the same sort of wavelength as to like what he really wants and what they should do with the ball. But I don't know. I hope it works itself out. You know, we kind of needed to as well, considering that we spent a lot of money on him, and we need to figure out how to develop him, and how to make it work. Um, but not just for him, but for a team aspect, because we need our strikers actually scoring goals as well, and we need to play a little bit more to the striker for that to happen. So we have to figure that out as a team aspect. Laz says, I wish I could have a convo with Rasmus, and I would have that Wenger to Henry chat. Look at your teammates, create space for them to pass to you, play on their strains, and get off the defenders. Well, it's a good point, but I think they got to do. I think they both have to do that, Lyle. I actually think that his teammates have to do the same thing that you just mentioned that you would say to him. And I agree of what you said you would say to him. I do agree. I think he does have to do that. But also, I could probably apply that to his teammates as well. Like I just change it up a little bit and say like, look for your striker, um, provide them opportunities and chances, give them the ball in good areas, and try and provide him some service to score some goals. I think we can think from both aspects. Probably has to happen, which is probably why it's a little bit dysfunctional. Lion says Garnacho was impressive tonight. He was. He came on with a little bit of like, almost like he had something to prove. It was almost like he came on trying to say like, look at what you're trying to sell. Because I don't think he necessarily wants to go, but it creates this dynamic of like, if you're aware or you're told from like higher up in the club that the club is looking to move you on, you never want to be in any aspect in life. You don't want to be in a place where you don't feel wanted. So, some people getting on him like because some of the news comes out that saying that like, oh, he prefers a move to Chelsea or wants to go to Chelsea. And it's like, yeah, but he only wants to do that because the club has pretty much told him that they may potentially sell him. And it's like, well, you're kind of telling him like, we don't really want you there here. And he's just like, all right, so I'll go somewhere that I'm wanted then. Like if you don't want me, like I like this club. I want to stay here. I came through the academy. My idol Cristiano was born here pretty much. Um, and I would like to follow in his footsteps. But if the club doesn't want me here, I'm not going to stay somewhere where I'm not wanted. So, he came on there like almost like he had a point to prove. Like this is what you're getting rid of for your stupid PSR bullshit. Um, and Lions put a different twist on it, saying he's obviously playing for that Chelsea. Well, maybe that was it as well. Maybe he was like putting on a performance of like put the bid in and come and get me and let's get rolling. Elias says all the noise around Garner and he shows up to work, professional in my books. Yeah, that's another thing too for a player that young to be involved in like this sort of situation and still coming on to put in a good performance. And that kind of shows you the different levels between, I'm not going to mention the players' names, but some players that are more experienced and they can they can handle things that are going on that are kind of a little bit out of their control and they are affected on the pitch. And then you have somebody that's 20, who is fairly, I would say he's fairly mature for his age. He already has a kid. He has a partner and he's played a lot of Premier League for, his age. And now he's dealing with this kind of saga of if he's going to stay at Manchester United or be sold. And, he came on and had a good performance. So kudos to him. He deserves his credit. Lyle says Malacia, United paid Feyenoord an initial fee of 15 million in euros, 13 million in pounds, with an extra 2 million euros, 1.7 million add-ons. That's literally nothing. That's actually totally fine. You know, we pretty much paid nothing. We could probably sell him for the same fee, I would assume. Um, Something like that around there, which means that we'll recoup the money. So, That's actually probably one of the only decent deals that they did at that time. Because that deal is not going to hurt us in any way. To get rid of him. So we need more deals like that, certainly going forward. And I think Ineos have done a good job so far, and hopefully they continue that. And Lion says maybe we could sell Malacia to Ajax and we could squeeze some cash out of them. Yeah, you're trying to get back some of that Anthony money that we pissed away. And I mean, the Anthony money, we might as well have just put it in the middle of Old Trafford, lit it on fire, and have 70,000 fans singing fucking "Kumbaya" with a ukulele going on in the background, because that's essentially would have been more effective than completely overspending on Anthony. I mean, our own people said that Anthony was valued at like 30 million, and we overpaid by 50 million. So yeah, we have to try and get back at Ajax somehow at some point, get back some of our money a little bit somewhere. So maybe we could sell him there, but I doubt they would take him back. Not take him back. I doubt they would take him. And yeah, I don't think they really necessarily want him. I mean, we could always sell him maybe back to Feyenoord. Lyle says La Liga Serie A could come in from Malacia and we could get a good feedback. Yeah, and hopefully that's what happens. Lyle says, remember Tellez? Yes. Shaw destroyed Man's United career. We signed Tellez as a replacement. Shaw was miraculously playing more games. Weird. Yeah, I mean his availability and his dedication have certainly been questioned, and some of it is kind of his own fault in the fact that he was injured or not available for quite some time, and then England rolls around and he always speaks so highly of England and how much he loves England, and he never says the same about Manchester United. And he came back and was available for England to play, and then he comes back to Manchester United and he's not available to play. So a little bit of his own fault as well that this narrative is going around and people are questioning, I guess his availability and his character. But I would find it remarkable, because we all know he's injury prone anyway. I find it remarkable if the club didn't know that he was like, kind of faking it or whatever it is. I couldn't imagine them knowing that, or not finding that out and allowing that to be a thing. Not find him wage wise or something like that. I just think that it's a little bit of a coincidence. He's a little bit not smart in some of the things that he's done in a public perception type of way. And he does seem like that guy, because we never talked about this, but I think it was somewhere around Christmas. He was in a TikTok video with some, I don't know who it was, like British singer, influencer or some type or whatever, and got a lot of backlash for being in the TikTok. And he said something about people's moms being on like assistance. I forgot the term that they use in the UK for it, but something like that. And I'm just like, this just shows like how unaware he is of like public perception, or maybe he just doesn't give a shit. But unlike you are a footballer that is under scrutiny and hasn't played in quite some time, and you go and join in a TikTok and you literally make fun of people's moms being on like government assistance because they can't afford like groceries, and you're getting paid, whatever it is, 100,000 a week, and you're not even playing. And you thought that was a good idea to be in that TikTok because that was gonna like win people over or something like that. Like, so he does seem like one of these people that is not like publicly aware of like things that he does or says, like, and how the public's gonna take it. Even quotes and comments that he's done in the past, silly, stupid comments that when he put them out, I was just like, why the hell would you say that? I was like, that's not gonna go well with the fan base, you know what I mean? So it's either he doesn't give a shit or he's just naive to the whole thing. Line says, in all seriousness, it would be great if Shaw could actually stay fit. It would. It really would. Because when he's on top of his game and he's available, he's actually very good. But yeah, I don't trust that in happening. I've given up on him. So was Mourinho right? Yes and no. I think maybe in the grand scheme of things, yeah, but I don't think he was right to say what he said at that particular time in that particular situation, because it was just again, it was like a very bad was perceived very bad from the public. Like, he suffered a very, very bad injury, and it just wasn't the right timing. But years later down the line, and you look at what's gone on and what's happened, and things that he's done, and you go, well, you know what? Maybe he did have a fair point, and maybe he actually was right. The timing, I think, was just a bad. It was just a bad time for Mourinho to kind of make those comments, and therefore it didn't go well. But Mourinho is Mourinho. He always does those things, and that's part of him. It's always been so. Um, yeah, Tellez was under Ollie. He was. We got him at 27, and also after a hectic head injury and a bit of a panic buy thanks to Bloody Shaw. Yeah, we want some of that Anthony Tax back, Luke Shaw, more like Luke Pale. Only fit for the national team when Shaw was at Southampton. He used to live stream playing FIFA. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it anymore, to be quite honest. I just go away or something. I don't know. Come back and be fit, or just go away. Let me see if I can get some Ruben Amorim quotes real quick. From somewhere. Please somebody good post them, please. Let's go to this account. Let's see what they posted. Ruben Amorim, we want some quotes. Okay. And by the way, just for the statistic people out there, Kobbie Mainoo's game by the numbers versus FCSB, he had 100% crosses completed. I wish they listed the amount of crosses, but 100% crossing completion, 100% long pass accuracy, 94% pass accuracy, 34 passes attempted, 32 passes completed, 5 duels won, 3 tackles attempted, 3 tackles won. He had 3 shots, 2 chances created, 1 assist, and 1 goal. So all around masterclass performance from Kobbie Mainoo today, of course. Bruno's stats were actually pretty good as well, but just based off of the eye test, I think it was a pretty average game from his standpoint. And Ruben Amorim, some quotes. Yes. Okay, so these are the beginning. Ruben Amorim said, Kobbie Mainoo played in a different position with more freedom, closer to the box. He can change the game there. He enjoyed the game more. I agree. I do agree. I think many of us agree. I think pretty much everybody agrees. Except for that one guy that came into our chat one time and said that he would sell Kobbie Mainoo out of all the players because he was too slow. And I don't know what that guy, I don't know what's in his water. The water that he drinks, I don't know what's in that, but he should get that checked out because I think there's lead or something in driving him mentally insane or something like that. But Ruben Amorim on automatic qualification says, that is massive for us, the joy of winning, the feeling of winning, but we will have 2 weeks to prepare our idea. That is massive for us. And that is a good point. You have extra time to prepare, and a lot of extra time. 2 weeks is a lot of time. And it's 2 less games you have to play. It's less stress on the players in terms of like physically stress. And fatigue and fitness and all that stuff, and maybe we could get some more time on the training ground as well, which we definitely need. Maybe we could do some more advanced stuff than what we've been doing. So yeah, it's very important that we did that. And very good. Ruben Amorim saying we need time to work with the players to understand what the best position is for them, and I did say that in the beginning. He's still learning things out, situations, processes, what players are best where. I think some people think that happens fairly quickly, but I think it's always an ongoing process. I think for you to go in there and be like, this player is this and that's it, and then you stop trying to learn more about them, stop trying to, kind of test them in different situations in different positions, I think is a mistake. I think it's always an ongoing process. I think you can try them somewhere, but I think you need to continue to see, well, what if we put them here? Maybe they're better suited for this. And I think that's what he's doing. And I think that's one of a process that's an ongoing process. And just like many other things, it's going to take time to um, really solidify it and get like a super strong understanding of it. I think he has a decently good understanding of it right now, but even like today, he's never played Mainoo in that position before. He's played him there, and Mainoo probably has had his best game. Definitely had his best game under Ruben Amorim so far. So that's something to think about. Amorim also saying the 1-against-1s for Ahmad and Garnacho helped a lot. We managed to score 2, but we should have scored more as we had some positions where it was 4-on-2. We have to do more in these situations, but it was a good game as we could use some rotation. And now the focus is on the next game. And he is right about that as well. Like, that was one of the dynamics. Garnacho, Ahmad, they love the one-on-ones. They love to be able to take somebody on and go past them and try and make something happen and sort of attack and be more direct. And those were, creating more chances for us. And we scored 2 goals, but we should have probably scored more. I mean, in reality, you want to score more, and we need to score more. And we had some positions for that, like as he said, and a lot of times it was like 4-on-2, 4-on-3. We were in advantage, and we didn't capitalize it. And we do have to learn how to do that, because when we play bigger and better teams, those are important in determining if we end up winning the match or not. I mean, those are crucial moments. So, um, Kobbie was asked about playing the number 10. He said it's a lot more freedom. I felt comfortable up there. I enjoyed it. So I think Kobbie does. I think Kobbie's saying that, like, yeah, I actually I like playing here a lot more. I actually want to play here, but obviously I'll play, um, where I'm asked, because that's what I want. Kobbie was asked about his goal, and he said, I'm more annoyed I missed that one in the first half. I would have been happy with the 2. So one, not good enough for Kobbie, showing his hunger there, which I like, and being a little bit constructive criticism on himself, because he wanted that goal, and it was a good action, and I wish he did, because it would have been lauded as absolutely world class, and the internet would have exploded, and he would have deserved it, because it was a great action. There was confidence in it. And he almost got it right. He almost got it right. He just got it wrong. Um, and Mainoo continued about his goal, saying, anytime to put the ball in the back of the net for Manchester United is amazing. Hopefully there's more to come. Well, hopefully there is, because I like seeing you score goals, and it's always good. Um, so hopefully that comes. And that's kind of the end of the quotes. I don't think we've gotten any news, per se. So I'm going to check to see if we got any news. Because sometimes they throw out a little bit of news when the match ends, but it doesn't. Here we go. Fabrizio Romano 20 minutes ago. Manchester United are pushing for a loan on player side for Matheus Tel. In case he decided to go on loan, the player has asked for a few more hours to talk to his family and agent before making a decision. So Manchester United, and that's from Fabrizio 20 minutes ago. So Fabrizio letting us know Manchester United are pushing for Matheus Tel loan. We could only afford to do his loan as of right now, because I think Bayern are probably going to require some type of a fee of like around 60 million, and that you're paying for, a little bit of ability, but a lot of it is for potential. And there's talks that Tottenham are gearing up to put in the 60 million bid. But at the end of the day, it's also up to the player. Just because Tottenham put in a 60 million bid, um, you know, um, doesn't mean that he decides to go there. He can decide that he wants to go to Manchester United, and he can take the loan. And then he could, see his options in the summer as well. He could maybe stay at Bayern, or he could go to another club, or he can come to us if we put in a deal, in the loan deal with an option to buy. Which I'm hoping that, if we do get him on loan, I hope that they are able to put in an option to buy. Because number one, I think he's a good player, good young talent. I would like him to come to the club. I'd be happy if we signed him. I think he's an exciting prospect. And, I understand that we can't afford him right now, but I think that's something that we could do in the summer. And if we're going to loan him in, then we should definitely have an option to buy him, because if he comes to Manchester United and he does well, number one, obviously I'm going to want him, but obviously then more people are going to be interested in him, and we shouldn't necessarily be facilitators of we shouldn't be like in that situation where um he's helped us out, but we've helped him out, but now he's going to end up somewhere else and not ending up at us. So um Lyle says, I'm really interested to see how the hell we get rid of Shaw in the summer. Then I don't know. I don't know. I don't think you know what, we really might not be able to because people talk about nobody's interested in Rashford, even though there are teams that are interested in Rashford, but everybody's like, nobody's interested in Rashford, nobody's interested in Casemiro. I can't imagine that there is a single team out there, unless it's like very, very like low quality, that they would obviously take him. But I can't imagine there's any team out there looking at his injury record and going, yeah, we'll sign him for £1. I don't even think they want to take him on loan. So yeah. But there's something also interesting that seems to be something about Manchester United, and nobody can actually tell what it is. Nobody can tell if it's the players being um not professional. They can't tell if it's our medical staff or shit that's going on in Manchester United, or maybe it's, the football and it's less intensive. Or maybe it's the training regimen in Manchester United. But Anthony Martial obviously went to AEK Athens, and he's played, I think, 17 matches for AEK Athens and hasn't been injured once, and it, has been playing on a very consistent basis for them. And he couldn't do that at Manchester United in like the last couple years that he was here. And it's like, so you can do that now that you've left Manchester United, but you weren't able to do it when you were here. And it's like, what's up with that? Is that that because you were like putting yourself out of the squad because you didn't really want to play, or was it like the training, or was the intensity of the matches too much and pushing your body too much? Nobody really has an answer for that, but um, because we just don't know. But you could speculate, but concretely, nobody can say definitively what it is. But if I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Shaw goes somewhere and then this guy literally doesn't get injured for like a whole season. I'll lose my shit, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. I would lose my shit in terms of just anger, um, because then I know exactly what it is. Ruben Amorim was asked on February's schedule being quieter. He said that is the biggest thing. More than the win is to have time to train and have time to recover the players. So yes, we absolutely do need that. And Grace saying, did we do ratings? Dalot gets 180. You actually went above the score that I said that you were going to give him. We did do player ratings. I gave him a 7.5. Ray gave him a 13 because Ray said he gave him a 5 for the first half and an 8 for the second half. So that equals the 13. I gave him a 7.5 because I think the defensive actions didn't have to do much in terms of defense. I gave all the defenders 6. Actually, Lisandro got a high score too. But Dalot scored, and he played a good game. So 7.5, I think, was fair. And I gave man of the match to Kobbie Mainoo, of course. But I did say, Grace, that you were going to give Diogo Dalot 100, and you've given him 180. So you almost doubled it. So you have absolutely killed it. And she's mad at me for my rating. He says Shaw will stay for the remainder of his contract and then retire. Probably. That's probably the most likely. But if he does that, we should kind of Phil Jones him in a way. I know Phil Jones, like, we didn't really necessarily do anything to him, but we should kind of just, if that's gonna happen, stay. But we're gonna get another left back in, and you'll just be like third emergency. You can, run around on the training pitch or do whatever the fuck you do. But we shouldn't, if that's gonna happen and we can't get any interest in him, like, we shouldn't be like, yeah, he'll just be the backup. He'll be the second choice. or he'll fight it out with Dorgu. Like, no, we can't really afford that. We need to have Dorgu. We got to have another one, and he could just do whatever he wants at that point. Gray says 7.5. What the fuck? Go and watch cricket. I don't like cricket. I don't want actually I mean I don't understand cricket. I don't know what goes on in cricket. But yeah, it's something that doesn't interest me, so I wouldn't do it. Lion says, but Martial did get injured just after signing for them, and it took ages before he could make his debut. Well, all right, fair enough. But now he does seem to be able to actually play on a consistent basis, where he wasn't able to do that at Manchester United. And maybe that has something to do with, the things I mentioned. But obviously, he got injured right after signing for them, and maybe that was because still some of the effects, whether that was our training regimen, whether that's our medical staff being shit at their jobs, maybe it's a combination of the both. Maybe it was more of a self thing that he just, he wasn't taking care of himself properly in a certain way. Maybe he switched that up as well, but I don't know. Fair enough though. Gray says Luke Shaw can be third choice to the kit man. Yes, well, Luke Shaw can be third choice to Gareth Southgate's Waste Coast. What would you call him? Picker, dresser, whoever picks out Gareth Southgate's waistcoats for him to wear for the day. He could be the third choice for that, for sure. But I think today that's all for today. Now we're not gonna go live tomorrow. I don't think we are. Unless something major breaks, and then we're gonna have to go. Although it is Friday, right? And I think Friday is all right. We could do a Friday stream or a Saturday stream. I haven't decided yet. I think we should probably do a Friday stream. So maybe we will go live tomorrow. I don't know. I'll let you guys know in the community notes, the community updates, the tabs, as I always do. I'll give you guys an update on what we're gonna do. But then we obviously have the match. Who are we playing in the Premier League, by the way? Because I don't even know. Are we playing Brighton on the weekend? Are we playing Brighton? Yes, we are. No. Oh no, we're playing Palace. We played Brighton like weeks ago. I don't know where my head's at. So we're playing Palace. We're home. Early game for me. Afternoon game for the rest of you, most likely. So yeah, we'll be live for the Red Devil recap for that one for sure. And then we'll figure out if we do a live stream tomorrow or we do one Saturday. I feel kind of pretty tired right now, so kind of feel like I don't want to do a stream tomorrow, but then tomorrow I might feel like I want to do a stream, so I'll just let you guys know in the community update, so look out for that. And we'll do the Red Devil recap, and that pretty much rounds out the rest of the week. And I guess all that's left is to say thank you to everybody that's smashed the like button. We greatly appreciate your support, and if you did that for us, thank you. If anybody was new and subscribed, thank you for that as well. And we welcome you to the community. We have been getting some new subscribers along the way and along the show, so we're back into the fold of things. I think there was a period of time where the channel was taking a little bit of a hit, and I think the channel is getting some more fair views and some more fair reach and stuff like that. So encouraging things. And Lyle is working on the emojis, which I'm excited for once we're able to get them and put them into the chat so we can spam emojis. I kind of want to say what some of them are, but I want them to be a surprise. So I'm not going to give anything away. I think we will present them whenever they're ready. And that's probably the better way, so you guys can get more excited about it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for continuing to support me, but the community, the channel. You guys are the whole thing. You guys are the Red Devil experience. Without you guys, I'm just one person, and pretty much I am nothing. So You know, you guys have been fantastic. You guys have been fantastic with the after show comments as well, putting in the comments underneath the live show. I think that's really been helping. I do. I actually think it's actually made a difference. And probably also because of the January transfer window. It seems like around transfer windows, is you get a lot more views as well. You get a lot more reach. There's a lot more interest and stuff. So that's probably had some effect as well. But I do think that the after show comments underneath the video has actually really been making YouTube push the live streams more and getting more reach. So, and you guys have been making really good comments. I enjoy them all. They're actually very good. Lines makes some very good ones. The way he you know, I was gonna ask you, Lines, if you had some type of background in some sort of literature or something, because the way you like format them, and you do them all the time. And Richard's trying to give you a push for your money as well. But they're very good. I enjoy them, and everybody else's are good too. The good opinions, and stuff like that. So, if you guys want, I'm not going to force you to, but you know that's for you to decide. But if you want, it obviously helps the channel. So I greatly appreciate if you guys do that. And Grace, are you still here? Let me know, because I would like for you, if you are still here, to pick a topic for the secret comment. Um, because you're better at that than I am. And I've been doing the last few ones, and I think I've done all right, but I like yours better, Grace. So if you're still here, uh, let me know in the chat. If you're not, I'm gonna have to figure it out. But Grace did say Shaw can advertise food at United. Lion says I think it was his luggage falling on his foot or something. I know it was very random. Oh, really? Oh, so it wasn't like football related? I thought it was football related. Lyle says I was a boss with cricket, lol. A fast bowler, almost went on to play for my province. But the stupid coach in high school had his favorites and I just couldn't get in. Yeah, that happens sometimes. It's unfortunate. But that's the world we live in, right? Not everybody has the job because they deserve it. Well, I would say a lot of people have a job because of who they know and not what they know, right? And that's just kind of how the world works. And sometimes you get the short end of the stick, unfortunately. So, yeah, Palace, we're playing Palace. Richard and Lionhearts kill the comments. They absolutely are. They're killing the comments. Lion says I write short stories, kind of a hobby. See, I had a feeling it was something like that because the way you write it out, I could just tell him like he must do this for like fun or something or whatever. Because I'm just like, I don't know. They're just formatted very well. And I was just like, I'm like, he's not just making these up on the fly. I was like, he has some sort of practice with these sorts of things, writing things out like that for sure. Like I had that feeling. I was like, nah, he's got to have something. He might have like a background in literature, or you know, I don't know, something like that. So that makes more sense though. And yeah, that explains a lot. That explains a lot. And you write what do you write like a particular short story, or do you just write like random short stories, whatever you decide you want to write about? um it says I go way too literal. No, that's fine. I like those comments as well. um you know, I think it's a good mix. I think it's a good mix. Can you redo the show? I had you on mute. Grace. Stop muting me. Because of my opinions about Dalot. I like him. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. I got a show to run here. I got to be fair. I can't be biased. You're allowed to be biased because you're a community member. You can do whatever you want. But I got to lead the show. I can't be too biased one way or another. I got to keep it, you know, accurate. But give us the topic, Grace, if you can, please. Because you have good topics. Come up with something before we end the show, so that we could spam it, or not spam it, but we'll put it in the live comments. Not the live comments. We'll put it in the comments underneath the show after I end it. And Lion says random shiz, whatever pops in my head. I'm glad you appreciate them. Oh yeah, they're great. Yeah, maybe you should maybe you could give us one of these short stories. Maybe you could like send it to us, or send it to me, and I'll give it a read. Or I could read it on here one time at the end of the show. We'll read it out for the real ones that stick around till the end. Um, And Lyle says he is building a media company. I would love to publish some works one day. Well, I hope best of luck with the media company. That's a big thing. Um, that's actually really cool. I don't know how I would I I don't know what necessarily goes into that stuff, but it sounds very cool. And could obviously be very successful and good. So, good luck with that. And yeah, wish you the best on that. Hopefully everything goes well. It's probably a lot of hard work, and it's probably obviously going to be anytime you do anything for yourself, it's going to be stressful, and you have to put in a lot of work. But I think just off the little taste of what I've seen from just even your dedication to doing the emojis, and you offered to do them. I didn't ask. You did that upon yourself. And the quality that you made them into, and the ideas that you have, I could kind of see how you can probably put together some type of a media company and stuff like that. Grace says the topics are favorite brand of boiler, favorite console and games. Yeah, you could put either one, I guess. We'll go with that. I don't know if the first one she was trolling us, so that's or she actually wants that, but yeah, if you have a favorite brand of boiler, then give us your favorite brand of boiler. I didn't even know what the brand of my boiler is. Um I'd have to go check. But the other one is good too. Favorite console and games. Any you could put any one of those three. How about that? Because Lions ask. And probably because he's getting ready to write us a little bit of a short story. So because this one might take a minute. Well, fair enough. If you listen, I'll tell you what right now, Lions. If you can somehow figure out how to work your favorite brand of boiler, and you're gonna have to like write in little parentheses like brand of boiler, because I don't think we're gonna know. If you can figure out how to work into one thing, a brand of a boiler and your favorite console and games, then I think we might have to get you like like a book deal or something. And we could write like a story about like United or something like that, and we'll get it published or something. So is that I think that's a little that's difficult. How you gonna work that into that? Grace says my boiler is shit. Let me let me loosen the comments. Pressure is on. Pressure is definitely on. But listen, guys. Let's go. I'll see you guys in the comments after the show. I'm looking forward. Pressure is on for Lions. Thank you guys. You guys have been very good, and we'll speak either tomorrow or we'll speak Saturday. One of the 2 days. I'll let you guys know for sure. But again, just thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for being here. And I appreciate chatting to you guys all the time. Very good conversations. I thoroughly enjoy them. You guys make me just grateful that I started this, and I feel lucky that you guys were able to find my channel one way or another, because you're all excellent, just community members, chat members, United fans, and yeah, it's really good that we've found each other. And I'm happy, and I hope we find more people like you guys sooner or later. Or maybe you guys are just that unique that there's not more. Maybe we need some different ones. Um, so Lion says pressure. What pressure? Pressure is for tires. Lyle says cheers to you, Lyle. Oh, by the way, is the logo good, Lyle? I don't know if he left, but is the logo good? Because you didn't let me know when I sent you the message. I sent you the logo. Is it good enough quality? And Grace says, am I going to have to Google your American boiler brands? You might. But to be fair, Grace, I don't even know what they are. I can't tell you a single brand name of an American boiler. I have absolutely no clue. I don't even know what mine is, and it's like 20. Well, here we go, American. It's like 20 feet away from me. You're gonna have to Google that conversion as well. We're getting a new logo. No. Sorry. He needs the logo. He needed the logo to create some of the emojis. He's gonna create some emojis with using the logo. So I had to send him the logo, and it needed to be in high quality. And I tried my best to send it in high quality. I think I did it. So but he just never responded on there. So I think we're good. Logo should be good. We'll let you know. Working on some designs this weekend. There you go. So yeah, we're not getting a new logo, not yet. I think the logo, when I made it, I said, this logo is good enough to start with, and I said, at some point we'll upgrade it and make it even more cooler, even more, just professional looking, more like high quality, high end. But we'll get there. There's more important things. My main focus right now is just trying to build the community as much as possible. Everything else is a nice touch, a nice feature, but it's not really a necessity. I think the most important thing is just building the community as best as possible. So, and Lions loves the logo. Yeah, I mean, it was something that I put together. It didn't take much effort, but I thought it was kind of cool, and it's simplistic. And I always want newer and better things anyway. But we'll get there at one point, because I think to start off a channel, I think this logo was good. I liked it. So I love the devil, super cool. Yeah, that was probably the best aspect of it, because I was trying to get something that I was like, I need a devil, right? Because but I was like, I can't use United's devil, because that's copyright infringement. But also, I was just like, I kind of wanted like a play on it, and it took a little bit to get one, but I ended up getting one. I used AI, and AI actually created it, and then I was able to take that and use it. So yeah, uh, I'm 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 just gonna call you Saha, because your first name, I'm sorry, I have absolutely no clue how to pronounce that. But Saha says there will be the shit again. This is the reality of United. Well, on that note, no, just kidding. I mean, maybe, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. We've said this a few times. It's going to be a little bit of up and down, up and down, up and down. It's going to be a bumpy road to the end of the season. We kind of expect that, but if we could get a good couple run of games, a good couple performances in between that bumpy road, then it is what it is. We got to take what we can this season. It didn't start off great. It hasn't continued to be necessarily great, but when the good things happen, we take them, and when the bad come, we deal with it and we move on, and we look forward. Grace says, is that Mew on the logo? You know what? I never even really looked at it like that, but it could be like a devil version of Mew. It actually could. It is almost like a Mew devil. I like it even better now that you said that, Grace. I'm so happy you said that. I could use that and say Mew was my inspiration, and I fused it with Manchester United. uh, Grace says, so it's not a Mew. Got to catch them all. Positivity at its finest. His boiler must be broken. Garnacho news says Fabrizio Arazize. If I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. I try my best with the names. I suck at it, but I try my best. Garnacho news. I will give it to you before I get out of here, because I'm a nice guy and I'm in a good mood. No, because you asked. And we provide for the community as much as possible. It was the updates before the match, so I have to go find them. Wherever they may be. Chelsea are set to make a new move for Alejandro Garnacho. Alejandro Garnacho was unwell during the week. And that's why he didn't start, apparently, but he looked pretty good to me. It was more this morning. This morning, Chelsea are expected to make another move in the final days of the window to bring in Alejandro Garnacho. United are apparently demanding a significant 95 million euros. That's from a source that I would take lightly, because I don't know them and I haven't heard too much about them, but they do have 180,000 followers. They are apparently a journalist for French outlet L'Equipe, and used to work at RMC Sport, Goal, Eurosport, and a couple other outlets, and that's from our United aggregators. Deemed them credible enough to, I guess they deemed them credible enough. Core Sport and Sport Witness also put out Manchester United now want 55 million euros for Garnacho. Napoli are now facing issues with his salary as he is demanding more than 4.5 million 4.5 million euros per season after tax. And those were pretty much the updates that we got today. So, it's just Garnacho's go to Napoli. Well, number one, I take it you're Italian by your name, and maybe you're maybe you're a Napoli fan as well. Listen, maybe we don't really know what's going on right now. I would say, if Napoli meet the demands of what Manchester United are asking for in terms of a price, then it's probably more likely going to happen than not, from a Manchester United standpoint. But if Napoli and Manchester United cannot come to an agreement on the fee, then it's not going to happen. And I don't think United will lower it too much. So, um, are you? So yeah, it's really a case of wait and see. Are the bids going to come in? Are they going to meet the what Manchester United are asking for? Uh, Nobody really knows. It seems to go one way. It seems to go the other way the next day. So I think it's probably going to come down to the wire, and it's going to make for an interesting end to the January transfer window. I certainly don't want him to go, but and Grace says, well, Mew can transform. You're giving me ideas here, Grace, because now I'm like, well, if we update the logo, we can make him evolve, right? We can make him transform, and we can make like a bigger version of this, and like some more like just like maybe brolic or something. So, um, but yeah, Fabrizio, there you go. That's all we got for today. And that's it for the show. We gotta go. So get in the comments, please and thank you. After I end the show. And remember, secret comments are gonna be your favorite brand of a boiler, and games, consoles and games. Those are the three topics that Grace has chosen, so that's what we're gonna go with. Grace says Garnacho has been better than Ahmad last three games, but because Garna isn't techie, Ahmad FC fans don't like it. Yeah, I mean the infighting, like FC fans of this player and that player, that shit needs to stop. I love Garnacho and I love Ahmad. I would never be anywhere in a position where I would be like, screw Garnacho and he sucks because I like Ahmad. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. I try to really ignore it because you try and have a conversation with those people and you can't even have one because they're just so out of touch with reality and facts, and everything is like opinion and not even opinion. It's biased. It's agenda driven. You can't have a real conversation with those people. So I kind of try to stay out of it anyway. I call them out for their bullshit, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, hopefully Garner stays. Ray says my boiler brand is called Ideal, and I could tell you it's definitely not ideal. Save it for the comments. All right, we're going because the show is running too long now. We're supposed to end 20 minutes ago. We're going. I'll see you guys either tomorrow, Saturday. Definitely see you Sunday. I'll let you guys know tomorrow what we're gonna do. If I'm gonna stream when I get home from work, or we'll stream Saturday. Although it's probably leaning towards Friday because now I'm thinking about it. If I have to work Saturday, we start later, which means I finish later, which isn't ideal for stream timing. So most likely it will happen tomorrow, but I'll obviously verify that with the community post as I always do. Again, thank you guys for the support. Everybody enjoy the rest of your night. Be good, stay safe, healthy. Be happy, and enjoy yourselves. And we'll speak very, very soon. And it's not ideal, says Grace. All right, everybody, take care. I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the comments. Thank you once again for all the support. I always greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It really does. And we'll speak.